Life in the 1970s was a vibrant explosion of freedom and style that feels impossible in our modern world. But do you remember the candid moments and the true atmosphere of the streets 50 years ago? It is time to escape the overwhelming present. Stick with us, because today we are exploring 100 rare photos that show what life in America really looked like. Welcome to We Are Baby Boomers. If you love uncovering the secrets of the past, please hit that like button and subscribe right now. It really helps us keep these memories alive. Washington, D.C. traffic. Washington, D.C. back in 1974 was a much more relaxed place to drive around compared to today's traffic-filled streets. You could cruise through the city without getting stuck in endless jams. Depending on when this photo was taken, the U.S. president was either Richard Nixon, still in office before his resignation over the Watergate scandal in August 1974, or Gerald Ford, who took over after Nixon stepped down. It's hard to imagine that this was once the most scandalous thing a president had ever done. Times have certainly changed. Tom Thumb Grocery Store. Tom Thumb was a grocery store icon in the 1970s, known for unbeatable prices and top-notch products. While it's still around and rooted in Texas, this ad is a nostalgic reminder of its heyday. The deli? Unforgettable, always fresh, and never left languishing under a heater. Just one bite from their offerings back then could transport you straight to grocery heaven. Entenmann's Donuts. Entenmann's has been a New York favorite since 1935 and continues to delight donut lovers today. Back in the day, there were fewer hairnets and a bit more freedom in the kitchen, but the donuts were just as delicious. Maybe it was the relaxed atmosphere that made them taste even better. Seattle City Light Office. Here's a glimpse into the typical day at Seattle City Light in the 70s. Employees handled everything from typing bills to fielding calls, all while looking sharp. And that glass ashtray? It was a staple in offices back then. After dealing with irate customers over rising bills, a cigarette break was practically part of the job. Typing classes. Typing classes were a high school staple in the 70s, preparing students for careers that revolved around the trusty typewriter. Secretaries, journalists, and office workers mastered its clunky keys, building speed and precision. Little did they know the computer revolution was just around the corner, making typewriters a relic of the past. Fortunately, today's keyboards aren't too different, just quieter and a bit more forgiving. It's wild to think how quickly technology reshapes our everyday tools. Convertible cars. In 1974, a car with a convertible sunroof was the ultimate symbol of cool. Forget all the gadgets and tech we have now, all you needed was the wind in your hair and a smooth ride. This car wasn't just about style, though. It could fit 5 people, making it perfect for cruising with your whole crew. It's the kind of ride that captured the carefree spirit of the 70s, and honestly, it still stands as the epitome of cool today. Color TVs. Back in 1974, owning a fancy color TV was the ultimate luxury. At $1,650, a staggering $10,200 in today's dollars, these heavy box TVs were as pricey as a new car. Families treated TV time as a sacred ritual. You had to justify that jaw-dropping cost. Today, a massive 4K screen costs under $1,000, making top-tier tech more accessible than ever.
Grocery shopping. Grocery shopping in the 1970s was a simpler, more community-focused affair. Shoppers navigated the aisles with their trusty carts, loading up on essentials without the distraction of apps or scanners. The absence of today's conveniences like self-checkout or curbside pickup meant more face-to-face interactions. Your cashier might have even remembered your name or favorite brand of cereal. And let's not forget the prices. A full cart like the one in the photo didn't leave your wallet gasping for air. Times Square. Times Square today is a bustling hub of digital billboards and chaos that many avoid. But back in 1974, it had a different vibe. Sure, it was crowded, but it felt walkable and full of character. It was a spot for a casual outing where you could catch a movie or visit a museum. And how about that Bruce Lee triple feature? Now that's worth the trip. A far cry from the commercial overload of today, Times Square back then had its own gritty charm. First female bus driver. In 1974, Mary Wallace broke barriers as the first woman to drive a Chicago Transit Authority bus. Her achievement was monumental, not just because she was a woman, but also a Black woman less than 2 decades after Rosa Parks' pivotal stand in the civil rights movement. Despite skepticism and stares, Wallace's skill and determination earned her respect and admiration. She kept Chicago moving for an incredible 33 years before her well-deserved retirement. Music festivals? Festivals back then weren't just events. They were experiences of pure camaraderie and unforgettable music. Legendary lineups like these captured the spirit of the times, all for just $15 a weekend, about $95 today. Now festivals feel more like logistical nightmares with overpriced tickets and endless lines. The thought of snagging a pass to something this monumental today for under $100? Impossible. Ticketmaster scalpers would turn it into a small fortune. McDonald's. The Golden Arch is shown just as brightly 50 years ago, but McDonald's had something special back then, better value and bigger portions. Take the Big Mac. In 1974, it was 65 cents, which is $4.15 in today's dollars. Compare that to the current average price of $5.69. Not only was it cheaper, but it lived up to its name. That burger could feed a family and still have leftovers. Now, it's just a shadow of its former self, a modest burger with an extra bun. Nostalgia never tasted so good. Avocado green decor. In the 1970s, avocado green wasn't just a color, it was a lifestyle. Green appliances, curtains, carpets, you name it, it was green. While it might seem overwhelming today, there's something oddly comforting about this living room. That floral couch looks perfect for curling up with a good book if the shades of green don't steal all your attention first. School mascots. A group of students from Brick High School in New Jersey caught during a big game with pom-poms that could practically double as pillows. Some students are also sporting Native American makeup, representing the team's former mascot, the Indians. Note, many schools have since updated their mascots to be more culturally sensitive. Gas lines. This scene from the 1970s looks like a Costco gas line on steroids. During the 1973 oil crisis caused by a Middle Eastern oil embargo, these endless lines became a part of daily life. By 1974, the frustration lingered. Just ask the guy stuck without enough gas to mow his lawn. To manage demand, gas stations implemented the odd, even rule where your license plate determined your fill-up days.
Newport Beach. In 1974, Newport Beach had that perfect balance of laid-back charm and local flavor. After a sunny day at the beach, you could grab a cool treat like Ken's frozen bananas with a refreshing Pepsi. The vibe was relaxed, with small businesses adding a sense of community. Unlike today's busy tourist spots, it felt like a place where locals and visitors alike could connect over a simple, sweet snack. What a nostalgic contrast to today's crowded, commercialized beach towns. Reading Terminal Market. The Reading Terminal Market in Philadelphia has always been a place where people shop till they drop, but it looks like waiting for your loved ones to finish their shopping was just as frustrating back in 1974 as it is today. The two folks in the front don't look thrilled about their wait. And those phone booths, remember those? They're lined up like a row of quiet conversations, but could you even hear anything over the sound of everyone else's chatter? The booths might have offered privacy, but not much in the way of quiet. Dunkin' Donuts. Dunkin' Donuts, now simply known as Dunkin', had a solid presence back in the 1970s, though it wasn't the giant it is today. The old logo with the words nestled in a donut-shaped circle had a creative charm that's missing from the current, more streamlined design. And oh, those fresh donuts. Back then, they were always fresh. Unlike today, when you might be lucky to get what you want, let alone something fresh. Speed limit. Back in 1974, the National Maximum Speed Law set a nationwide speed limit of 55 miles per hour, a response to the gas shortage caused by the oil crisis. While some states treated it as more of a suggestion than a rule, others profited from a surge in speeding tickets. Despite the gas issue improving, the law lingered on as it was said to reduce traffic fatalities. However, in 1987, the limit was raised to 65 miles per hour, and by 1995, the law was repealed. Today, 70 miles per hour is the new suggestion in many places. Peggy Berry. Peggy Berry might not be a household name, but if you were lucky enough to be served by her, you knew you were in for top-notch service. The kind of diner where your cup was always full, the papers were handed to you with a smile, and honey was a regular part of the conversation. These diners still exist today, but their charm has faded, with many of them now seen as nostalgic relics. If you ever stumble upon one, make sure to grab a plate of hash browns or a burger. You won't be disappointed. NYC subway, the grit of the NYC subway in the 70s. School uniforms. American schoolgirls wore skirts and low-heeled shoes to school in the 1970s. Studio 54. A woman known as Disco Sally dances with her husband at Studio 54, 1978. School skirts. Images of schoolgirls wearing short skirts like this were not uncommon on American school campuses during that time. Danny Trejo and his third wife Joanne in 1976. School bus. A school bus in the United States. Willem Dafoe in Point Judith, an epilogue, 1979, by the Wooster Group, New York City. Photo by Nancy Campbell. Carrying books to the classroom. Girl on a beach in Oahu, Hawaii, 1973. Photo by Nick DeWolf. Lecture hall, inside a university lecture hall in the United States. Taxi driver. Robert De Niro on the set of Taxi Driver, 1976. Chemistry lab. A charming female student is conducting an experiment inside a chemistry laboratory. Margot Hemingway, photographed by David Hume Kennerly in Havana, Cuba, 1978. Blonde schoolgirl. A blonde schoolgirl from the 1970s in the United States. SAS Airlines. A steward slices meat for passengers on SAS, Scandinavian Airlines, 1969. Student lockers. The student lockers area in the United States. Madonna photographed by her boyfriend Dan Gilroy on the bus in New York, 1979. Cafeteria. The cafeteria area. Steve Martin. A young Steve Martin ironing a cat, 1970s. Anatomy class. An anatomy class. Sharon Tate, photographed by Jean Gutowski on their Christmas holiday in Italy, 25th of December, 1968. University library. The reading room in a university library. Happy 1979. Music class. This is likely a music class. Disco attack. How to survive a disco attack. Typewriters. A classroom using typewriters. Grace Jones, The Palace, Paris, 1978. A sewing classroom. George Harrison and Stevie Nicks. 1978. School campus. A school campus in the United States. Miss American Vampire. Jonathan Frid crowns Christine Dominiecki, Miss American Vampire, 1970. Neat outfits. American schoolgirls in neat outfits. Kate Bush, London, March 1978. Overall skirts. Overall skirts were a popular attire for female students during that time. Harrison Ford. At Home with Harrison Ford, 1978. Student conversation. Sigourney Weaver. Sigourney Weaver at the Tail of the Pup, La Cienega Boulevard, Los Angeles, California, 1978. New York City, 1975. Joint wedding. Two brothers at their joint wedding, 1970s. Dolly Parton. Dolly Parton performs in Detroit, Michigan in September of 1977. Angelica Houston. Angelica Houston in Halston's Fall 1972 collection. Melanie Griffith. 14-year-old Melanie Griffith at home with her pet lion Neil, 1971. Dolly Parton, 1970. Cher. Cher, 1970. Al Pacino, 1970s. Amy Irving, Carrie Fisher, and Terry Garr, 1977. ABBA's Agnetha Feltskog, 1974. A woman photographed in 1973. Rumors. Rumors, 1977. Recycling logo. Gary Anderson, at age 23, designed the recycling logo for a contest, 1970. Elton John. Elton John at home with his shoe collection. Photo by Terry O'Neill, 1975. Linda Carter. Linda Carter pre-Wonder Woman in the 70s. Susan Sarandon. Susan Sarandon in the Rocky Horror Picture Show, 1975. Conversation pits. Conversation pits from the 1960s and 1970s. Helen Mirren. Helen Mirren, 1969. San Francisco. San Francisco's Lombard Street in 1975. Parents in Paris. That moment when you realize your parents were cooler. My Parents in Paris, 1972. Susan Sarandon Can, 1978. Tim Curry. Tim Curry, 1974, by Joe Gaffney. New York City, 1978. Photo by Helen Levitt. Afghanistan. Women in Afghanistan during the 70s before the Taliban. Heartbroken for all experiencing pain now. David Cantlin. This photo captures the peaceful life of David Cantlin at 19 years old in West Virginia. Cantlin's father was a miner who tragically lost his life in a mining accident, yet Cantlin still aspired to follow in his father's footsteps. Joan Jett. Joan Jett without her signature black eyeliner. Oil slicks. This is an image of oil slicks surrounding the Statue of Liberty. Ruth Gordon Schnapp. Ruth Gordon Schnapp, California's first woman structural engineer, 1970s. Atlas Chemical Plant. The Atlas Chemical Plant releases smoke into the sky, disrupting the peaceful scenery of the Marshall region in Texas. A local farmer reported that the chemicals caused the death of several of his livestock. Coca-Cola ad. Coca-Cola ad, 1977. Contaminated water. Mary Workman, a resident of Steubenville, Ohio, is holding a cup of contaminated water from her well. She filed a lawsuit against a coal company in Steubenville for polluting her drinking water source. Access the New Vintage Channel. Access the New Vintage Channel. Battery recycling. Battery recycling plants in the U.S. have been releasing thick black smoke since the 1970s. Today, the U.S. requires battery recycling plants to avoid releasing polluting emissions into the environment. As a result, companies export batteries to be recycled in other countries. George Washington Bridge. The George Washington Bridge in New York City is submerged in fog. The environmental pollution issue is now much larger than before. EPA Lab. Staff members of the Environmental Protection Agency are working in a laboratory in Las Vegas. Twin Towers landfill. The Twin Towers in New York seen from a massive landfill. Rusting car. A car left to rust at Jamaica Bay, New York in 1973. Baltimore Harbor. Trash and old tires are scattered across the Baltimore Harbor. Today's EPA regulations prohibit dumping waste in coastal areas. The EPA has also worked for many years to clean up the Baltimore Harbor since 1972. Smog in Louisville. The town of Louisville in the Ohio River has been facing the issue of dense smog. NYC suburbs waste. All kinds of waste are dumped in the suburbs of New York City. The EPA has also issued regulations to help the New York authorities tackle this waste issue. The pollution emitted by automobiles had severely threatened the environment in the U.S. before the Clean Air Action Program was implemented. Waste incinerator. This photo shows a waste incinerator on the Ohio River in 1972. LA smog. The issue of smog pollution is not new to Los Angeles. This photo from 1972 proves it. Sophia Loren. Sophia Loren's summer outfit at age 18. Anne Margaret. Anne Margaret shows off more than her acting chops. Flight attendants. Flight attendants posing on an empty airplane in the 1960s. Madonna, 1983. Madonna relaxing in an NYC apartment, 1983. Nicholson and Houston. Jack Nicholson and Angelica Houston were a cool couple in the 1970s. Debbie Harry. Debbie Harry in Tokyo, 1978. Mick Jagger. Mick Jagger looking like a naughty little boy put in timeout in this photo. Linda Carter Emmy. Linda Carter showing off at the 1977 Emmy Awards. Gordon Lightfoot. A young Gordon Lightfoot was interviewed by host Alex Trebek on CBC's Music Hop in 1963. Princess Elizabeth. Princess Elizabeth inspects a barrack guard as sentry faints during visit. Indian Maharaja's daughter. Daughter of an Indian Maharaja poses with panthers she shot. The Wailers, Bunny Wailer, Bob Marley, and Peter Tosh in 1964. Jim Morrison. Jim Morrison in the studio recording the L.A. Woman album 1970. Charles Bronson and Jill Ireland, 1968. Hippie Dad and his daughter in Amsterdam, 1968. Arnold Schwarzenegger. Arnold Schwarzenegger walking around Munich to promote his new gym, 1969. Bill Murray. Bill Murray as Hunter S. Thompson in a scene from the film Where the Buffalo Roam, 1980. German Grenadier. A German grenadier in Champagne, heavily armed. Afghanistan, mid-last century. Nation of Islam. Nation of Islam held anti-Trump rally in 1988 at Trump Tower. Love is Forever. Sign Embankment, Paris, 1944. Great Depression family. A family during the Great Depression. Germany, 1922. Children playing with stacks of money, Germany, 1922. Fishing for coins. Three boys fishing for coins, New York, Great Depression, 1930. Woodstock crowd. The crowd chilling at Woodstock, 1969. Bob Gibson. Back in 1968, Bob "Gibby" Gibson of the Street Louis Cardinals pitched 13 shutouts. Matt Dillon, 1980. Dad skills. Dad impresses with skills in 1940s Melbourne. Red Army Guard. Red Army Guard on duty. USSR, 1925. Vision of the future. A 1930s vision of the future. Barbara Roofs poses at a Southern California drag race in the early 70s. Anti-hippie. Anti-hippie protesters, 1960s. Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise in middle school, 1970s. Finnish boy soldier. Finnish 11-year-old Ani Lindström, who ran away from his home during the Continuation War because he wanted to help on the Northern Front against the Soviets. Putin. Putin as a teenager, 1960s. Robin Hilton. Robin Hilton wows Johnny Carson on The Tonight Show in 1974. Conan the Destroyer. Arnold Schwarzenegger standing in the middle of Wilt Chamberlain and Andre the Giant on the set of Conan the Destroyer in 1984. Gym machine. One of the world's first gym machines designed by Dr. Gustav Zander, Stockholm, 1892. Berlin, World War II. Berlin at the end of World War II. Electric chair, 1908. Soldier's photo. An American soldier constantly carries his girlfriend's photo. General officer with two canaries. New Yi, 1918. Bankrupt investor. Bankrupt investor Walter Thornton attempts to sell his luxury Chrysler Imperial 75 Roadster for $100 on the streets of NYC, October 29, 1929. The Runaways. Members of the Runaways and David Lee Roth at an interview in a Pasadena radio station, 1978. John Lennon. John Lennon with Julian on his Honda monkey bike, early 70s. Miniskirts, Lithuania. First miniskirts come in fashion in Lithuania, 1965. Royal wedding. Princess Elizabeth and Lieutenant Philip Mountbatten marriage photograph, 20th of November, 1947. Marilyn Monroe, 1950s. Remote control TV. World's greatest invention until color. Motorola Remote Control TV, 1962. Linda Carter's swimsuit for Battle of the Network Stars doesn't leave much to the imagination. Tubing, Arizona. Tubing on Salt River, Arizona, 1980. Push the Peanut. Children play Push the Peanut in King's Cross, 1938. Mom Mechanic. With her husband at war, Mom worked on the car, 1944. Mujahideen. Mujahideen used air-filled leather bags to cross a river, 1980. Woodstock, 1969. Woodstock, 1969. PSA flight attendants. Photos of PSA flight attendants from early 1970s. Coal miner's child. A coal miner's child in grade school. La Junior, Kentucky, 1946. Hitchhiking. The art of hitchhiking in the 1970s. Children playing Ribera Porto. Last Dance. We're saving the last dance for you. Grandfather, 1953. My grandfather and his brother-in-law, 1953. Iwo Jima. U.S. 4th Marine Division Cemetery, Iwo Jima, March 1945. Gary Anderson. Gary Anderson, the guy who at age 23 designed the recycling logo for a contest in 1970. Central Park, 1933. A photo of Central Park during the Great Depression, New York, 1933. Al Gore. Vice President Al Gore prepares to talk to White House staff in December 1998 after President Clinton had just been impeached. Aston Martin dashboard. Aston Martin Lagonda dashboard, 1982. Irony. Man experiences irony, 1966. Sybil Shepherd. Sybil Shepherd, 1972. Empire Strikes Back. Empire Strikes Back in London, 1980. Notre Dame. Notre Dame, Paris, 1981. Puerto Rican Pride. Puerto Rican Pride, 1978. Farm Family. A farm family gathers for supper. Claiborne County, 1940. From cultural shifts to political challenges, this decade shaped the future in ways we can still see today. Which photo caught your eye the most? Share your thoughts in the comments. If you enjoyed this journey into the past, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with friends. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.